Birth Story 14, The Stop and Reverse. Mom, she desired an all-natural childbirth, achieved childbirth via emergency C-section. Baby number 1, Magnolia, born October 13th, 10 pounds, 5 ounces. Gestation, 41 weeks, 6 days. Labor. She experienced prom at 41 weeks and 4 days. Contractions were sporadic for 24 hours until labor began. Total labor lasted 27 hours, 12 hours of active labor, and she pushed for 5+ hours. Dear Magnolia, in early August, I went to visit your mom and dad at their home. Your mom was reading one of my favorite books called Birthing from Within, and we started to plan for the day of your birth. Your parents shared their visions and wishes for your birth with me, and we put together a birth plan. I talked to your mom a few times a week for the next few weeks just to check in. Your guest date was September 30th. Your mom told me she felt great all the way until the end. She was still walking around the neighborhood daily, working out, and taking deep stretch yoga classes. On October 5th, your mom went to see her provider for a visit. She was 1 centimeter dilated and 70% effaced. The doctor swept her membranes, and your parents hoped for labor to begin. Pop out, Birthing from Within. Birthing from Within by Pam England and Rob Horowitz is a wonderful book and is a form of childbirth preparedness that believes in ritual, ceremony, and art processes to unearth the ancient inner knowing within you. More information can be found at birthingfromwithin.com. On October 10th, your mom went back to see her doctor, and she had progressed to 2 centimeters and 80% effaced. The doctor swept your mom's membranes again and told her she was certain you would be born in the next few days. Pop out, sweeping the membranes procedure. There is an outdated and ineffective practice to induce labor called sweeping the membranes. I want you to know about it because some providers still offer it, or perhaps your sister or friend who birthed not so recently may try and talk you into it. Many of the women in this book received this procedure before it was deemed ineffective. This is a procedure where you must be at least 1 centimeter dilated. Your provider will insert a gloved hand vaginally and move their finger in a sweeping motion between the membranes of your amniotic sac and your cervix. Informed consent has been a major problem when it comes to this procedure. Informed consent is necessary for all interventions. So make sure to discuss with your provider exactly what they are planning doing during an internal exam. If I were you, I would kindly say, no thank you, if offered a membrane sweep. Your mom called me at 9:30 p.m. the next night to let me know that her water had ruptured and she was having some mild contractions. She texted me a few updates until midnight, and then she agreed to try and get some sleep. At 6:45 a.m. the next morning, she was having some mild cramping and amniotic fluid continued to leak. A few hours later, your mom checked in again and told me that she had felt a few more gushes of fluid. I went to check on your mom at noon, and she said she was a bit nauseous. So I brought her some peppermint tea to try and settle her stomach. It was a perfect day, overcast and rainy, yet 70 degrees. Your mom and dad were sitting on the couch, and your mom was a little teary-eyed. Labor can be quite exhausting and emotional, but she was handling it with such grace, peacefully awaiting your arrival. Your mom found some comfort on the birthing ball, and I was able to give her a massage. We decided to go for a walk around your neighborhood. We saw some of your neighbors and walked over the railroad tracks and up a few hills. Your neighborhood has a lot of personality to it, and it was good energy to capture for your mom's labor. Your parents reminisced about the night they met. I wonder if they knew that night that they would create a life together, literally and metaphorically. When we returned, your parents were tired and took a nap together. Contractions were mild and sporadic still. I waited to hear from your mom, and she checked in with me after a long nap where she was able to sleep and regain some strength. She said she had some good rest and was ready to pick up the pace. Your parents spent some time together with natural induction methods to help strengthen contractions. She drank castor oil and rubbed some on her belly. They worked really well. Before long, contractions picked up, and your dad called me to come over. When I arrived, I could see the progression in your mom's face. At 10:30 p.m., she was contracting every 7 minutes and appeared to now be in early labor. She sat on the birthing ball, and I massaged her back and helped relax her through each contraction. Your mom ingested black cohosh and blue cohosh every 15 minutes, which are two of the herbs used in labor that may help naturally sustain contractions. Pop out. Herbs used in labor. Black cohosh and blue cohosh are often used together throughout labor. Blue cohosh is the plant Caulophyllum thalictroides. Black cohosh is the plant Actia racemosa. Historically, these herbs were used by Native Americans as a uterine tonic and for various gynecological support, like reducing hot flashes and night sweats. In labor, these herbs can be powerful uterine stimulants. They come in homeopathic tablets, tinctures, and capsules. Another powerful herb to support your labor is red raspberry leaf, Rubus idaeus, which you can use as a tea or a tincture or an enema. We went for a short walk in the misty rain. She was able to eat tortellini for dinner and felt full and nourished. When we returned home, we went upstairs to the master bedroom, and your mom sat on the birthing ball again. She drank ginger tea to try and settle her nausea. Then your parents decided to lie down to try and sleep again. About 45 minutes later, your dad came to get me and said, your mom just couldn't get comfortable. I switched places with your dad and let him continue resting while I went to take care of your mom. I drew your mom a bath, and she stepped into the warm tub. There were candles lit, and we brought a fan to keep her cool. Your mom enjoyed relaxing through the contractions in the tub. She continued to drink ginger tea and suck on ice chips. I tried to keep her temperature comfortable with cold cloths across her face. While your mom lay there, I could see you dancing in her womb. You were letting us know that you were doing very well and were also enjoying the labor. Your mom labored in the tub from 12:30 a.m. until 2:30 a.m. She took a shower alone, got dressed in comfy clothes, and retreated to the birthing ball. Around 4 a.m., your mom's contractions were 4 to 5 minutes apart, and she decided she wanted to go to the hospital. Labor was progressing nicely, and she was starting to feel the intensity. When we arrived at the hospital at 4:30 a.m., your mom and dad went back to triage alone, since this hospital would not allow more than one support person in triage. You and your mom were monitored there for just over an hour. They confirmed she was 3.5 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced, and you were high, likely a -3 or -2 station, and that her water had ruptured. While in triage, your mom's surges had picked up to 3 to 4 minutes apart and lasted for a minute. She was exhausted. She wanted a break and was considering Nubane, which was part of her birth plan. The nurse and I talked to your mom and let her know that she likely had many more hours of laboring and pushing to go, given her dilation, effacement, and your station. And you were her first baby. The Nubane would take the edge off for about an hour, but could only be dosed every several hours. She decided that the epidural would be a better option than Nubane because she was so exhausted from 2 days of prodromal labor, and she felt like she really needed a much longer rest than the Nubane would provide. Within an hour, your mom had IV fluids going, and the anesthesiologist placed the epidural. By 6:30 a.m., she had experienced immediate relief. She laid down to get some much-needed rest. She slept for 3 hours. The nurse came in at 9:30 a.m. to empty her bladder with a catheter and to check her cervix. Your mom did not want to know her progression, but when they checked her, she was 9+ centimeters, 100% effaced, and a 0 station. I thought she might want to know that. We told her, and she was happy. The epidural had worked and allowed her body to relax and open nicely. Within 30 minutes, your mom was 10 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced, and you remained at a 0 station. The nurses supported your mom in laboring down based on her birth plan and just waited for the pressure and the urge to come naturally. She rotated from side to side every 30 minutes and continued to sleep. At 11:30 a.m., you were at a +1 station, and your mom was starting to feel some pressure in her bottom during contractions. At 12:55 p.m., the rectal pressure remained, even between contractions. So, your mom started to push. She never faltered with her breathing, her inner peace, or her control over her mind and her contractions. She remained relaxed throughout the entire labor and made every decision that was best for you. We moved and supported your mom in several different pushing positions for the first hour and a half. I checked in with your nurse, who suggested putting your mom back in the original pushing position we had started with, as we had seen the most progress there. Your dad stood by your mom's side the entire time she pushed and never looked down once. He stared straight at your mom or kept his eyes closed. He would count down from 15 or 10 to help your mom hold and control her breath during each push. She was pushing perfectly, and I could see the top of your little head coming down farther on every push for the first few hours. Magnolia, your mom pushed for over 5 hours, but you just didn't want to come out any farther. You were continuously monitored and you were doing great. Your heart rate was always around 145 beats per minute with normal variability. Your mom did everything possible to get you here as naturally as possible and to avoid a C-section. I am so proud of her. She fought very hard for you. After 5 exhausting hours of pushing, she delivered your head with a vacuum-assisted delivery. And we saw your face, but your shoulders and body would not emerge due to shoulder dystocia. Pop out, vacuum-assisted delivery. This is also called a vacuum extraction. However, it's not a vacuum at all, so get that picture out of your head. It is a soft suction cup that attaches to the top of your baby's head. It provides tension that helps guide your baby's head out of the birth canal. Essentially, you push and your provider pulls. This is used when a mom is too exhausted to push effectively, if the baby appears stuck, has an irregular heartbeat, and or needs to be birthed quickly. Forceps would have also been an option here. Her healthcare team would have weighed the benefits and risks of both before moving forward with the vacuum. You were healthy and happy, but appeared to be stuck in the birth canal. No matter what your mom or the doctor did, you just wouldn't come out any farther. They told your mom the best thing for you both would be to stop, reverse, and head for an emergency C-section. Your mother was devastated, but also had no choice. In the end, the doctor concluded that you were face up and your shoulders were just too broad for your mom's pelvis. They wheeled your mom away to the surgery unit as your dad suited up in his blue sterile scrubs. I told your mom I loved her, that I was proud of her, and that I was so sorry she wasn't able to finish delivering you vaginally. I waited to hear of your birth. The hospital would not let me in triage, so they certainly did not welcome me to the OR. They told me later that in the OR, everyone gasped when you emerged because of how big you were. One nurse poked her head around the sterile sheet just to see how big you were. Magnolia, you were born at 6:57 p.m. and weighed 10 pounds, 5 ounces. I will forever remember the strength of your mom and hold her story in my heart. When my own birthing time arrived with my first son, it was so similar to your mom's that I connected with the memory of your mom's birth to help guide me. Much love, your doula Heidi. Birth affirmation. My baby is nurtured and protected by me.